Hi everyone, it's Lara. Thank you so much for watching. In today's video I'm going to show you how I made my Dreamcatcher. I always wanted to have one of those and there are so many beautiful Dreamcatchers in stores, but I just wanted to have something special. I wanted to have something I made, and of course it had to have a wolf on it because I love wolves. I have a really strong and special connections with those animals. I am a wolf girl, so this is what we're gonna do, and if you want to know how I made my Dreamcatcher, then please keep watching and have fun. The thing that I've used as a frame is something I bought at garden supplies. What I liked was the bottom part with those two ends, because that was the place where I could ideally position my wolf. First I had to wrap my frame in wool. I bought a very inexpensive wool. It's a cotton wool in off-white, and I've been just wrapping it until it was completely covered, and then I went over again with a second layer. Once the frame was completely covered and I was happy with the result, I started tying more wool to the frame and creating shapes. To be honest, I didn't really have an original plan. I kind of went along with it, and after I created one shape, I considered what would look the best, what should I add, so it kind of just happened. Once I was happy with my pattern, I started positioning the wolf and finding the perfect twigs and the perfect place for them. It is always best to try a few alternatives just to make sure that you really like it before you glue it on with the hot glue. Also, before I glued the wolf and the twigs on, I first tied a few pieces of wool to the bottom part for my feathers. In the meantime, I turned my hot glue gun on, and once all the wool pieces were tied to the bottom part, I could glue my wolf and the twigs on the Dreamcatcher. Now that the wolf and the twigs had their final positions, I took a step back and looked at the pattern that I've created with the wool, and I have decided to add a little bit more wool so that the pattern is a little bit richer. Once I was happy with the pattern, I started making knots on the wool on the bottom part of the Dreamcatcher, because I later inserted feathers in each of the knots. Now that each knot had its feather, I took 2 seashells for each of the knots and glued it on with hot glue gun, because it makes the wool a bit heavier, it hangs a bit straighter, and also that way you can easily hide the knot. At this point I could basically leave the Dreamcatcher as it was, but I have decided that I wanted to have more details. I also love the moon, and that's why I printed out a picture of a moon and I covered it with liquid polymer clay. The moon had to harden in the oven. I preheated it to 265 Fahrenheit, which is 130 degrees Celsius. It had to harden for 20 minutes. After that, I let the moon cool off. I cut it out of the rest of the paper, and then I gave it 2 coats of nail polish. The first coat was sparkly nail polish, and once that coat dried, I used a top coat that is supposed to glow in the dark. Of course, I had to wait until also the second coat dried, and then I started positioning my moon on the Dreamcatcher. Once I found the ideal position that I liked the best, I glued my moon to the Dreamcatcher. Well, and then I was done. The Dreamcatcher is now decorating the wall behind me next to the photo of me and the Arctic wolf Naya. This is definitely a project you can do easily in one afternoon because it's really fast and it's not really difficult. And the only things that take a bit longer is wrapping the frame with the wool. Then you have to wait for 20 minutes until the polymer clay hardens in the oven, and if you're gonna use nail polish just like I did on the top of my moon, then you would have to wait for a few minutes until that dries, but the rest is super fast and super easy. One suggestion regarding the feathers: if you prefer feathers that are perfectly straight and stiffer, you might want to use duck feathers instead of the feathers that I've used. I used some fluffy feathers. I like them, I like the shade, and I don't mind that they're not perfectly straight, but if you want to have straight feathers, duck feathers would be definitely the better choice for you. Well, that's it for today. My Dreamcatcher is already here behind me on the wall and I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. And if you liked today's video, don't forget to give it a thumb up. You can also subscribe to my channel if you didn't yet. That would be awesome. And don't forget to visit the description box. There are links to my Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And as usual, I have listed there several videos that might be interesting for you. And thank you so much for watching. I wish you a wonderful day. Love you guys. See you next time. Bye!